Hi, I'm Zhongwen Li, a former Chinese foreign player. This is a teaching game I played against Americ VA, currently 9Q on OGS. He is also a member of Oxford City Go Club. If you are based in Oxford, you are more than welcome to join this wonderful club. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you find the content useful. Before we start, I would like to highlight the main takeaways of this game, especially for beginners. 1. Identify and protect your keystones. 2. Attack when you have a local stone advantage. 3. Accept your loss in an unsuccessful fight and get over it and move on. 4. Always keep an eye on the groups that are not completely alive. And here is the final little tip. When you play a stronger player, perhaps it's not a good idea to play too defensively all the time. In a handicap game, the stronger player tends to play some unreasonable move. Give yourself a shot to punish them, because the result is not that important, the process is. Okay, we are good to go. So yeah, so this is the first mistake and probably the losing mistake. Black should save this mark stone because it is a cutting stone and vitally important. So what makes it a vitally important stone? First of all, if Black gets to save this stone, these two marked white stones on top are kind of wasted. So it only got 3 liberties and towards the side, so it can be easily killed, which means all the upper side turns into Black territory. And at the same time, these two mark stones on the outside are also fragmented, because if white just play away, Black can simply capture this stone. But oppositely, if Black didn't save this stone, and white got a very solid tanuki here, it's very influential. So as can be seen, these 3 black stones are somehow weakened because of this pillar here. And at the same time, the stones in the corner are not solid anymore because of this capture. And as you can see, there is an immediate cut strike. So that's what makes this mark so very important. Black should save this stone. Yeah, so for the time being, this is okay. So let's just move on. Yeah. And it seems to me this move is a little bit passive because this is a problem of stone advantage. So here, Black got something like 6 stones against only 1 stone for white. So definitely Black got a stone advantage. So in general, Black should have set up a more effective attack. So something like this, and probably white's gonna jump out. And Black still gets to play this move. So the difference is after this 1 and 2 exchange, white doesn't have any eye space or any potential to make eye on the upper side. This makes the fighting easier for Black. So as compared to game variation, if Black simply jumps out, white has the chance to play 0-17 and make the conditions for white stone better. And in the game, I just keep attacking Black stone. Yeah. And this is probably a bad move. I suspect my opponent is influenced by this AI dosing, something like this. Yeah. But if we compare this position with this position, the difference is Black's helper stone in this position is on the third line, which means all these mark stones form a really solid fortress, and it's very difficult for white to save this stone, and probably very painful because the freedom has been restricted. But in this position, this helper stone is on the fourth line, so these 3 mark stones haven't yet formed an effective connection or take control of these white stones more effectively. So here, I should have simply saved this, simply connect, and probably followed by this, something like this. And this would be good for Black. And now this marked cut is always there. And after this exchange, as you can see, this pillar becomes much stronger, and the effect simply play away. And this cut is still a very serious threat for Black. And now we go into a semi-line. Black should probably snap and win by 1 liberty. Now white gets to play this row in. And the problem is if black capture this, and this is a call or psyche, black misread here, so black just simply play away. And this pip is not a forcing move. This pip is like a fake forcing move. Because for the time being, this is not a very big threat for black, because black does have some stones in the proximity. So it's very difficult for white to kill this group. So just keep in mind, not every pip is a forcing move. So white is now moving out. There's some weakness with this connection. So here I'm just going to show the most vulgar move probably, yeah, and just play the honey. White does have the option to connect like this, but it would be very painful. But if white cuts here, then obviously white has been cut off. Or black can even play this attachment. This is also a very effective way to cut white off. And this is a very bad exchange for black, because if black just leave it there, black always gets to play this pip from the other side. And this pip will strengthen this weak group. So probably something like this. So this exchange just makes this marked group even weaker. So I'm not going to get into the detail of this semi, but the takeaway information is black is chasing white into the wrong direction, because this is the only part on board where white has an stone advantage, and black's position is relatively unsettled. So it's not reasonable to chase white group into this direction, because white is just going to swallow this group up. So it's pretty bad for black. If you think this group is already very hopeless, just play away, play somewhere else, or even this. If you keep invest stones in this general area, it's just going to grow bigger and bigger. Yeah. And as you can see, you lost another maybe 10 points after this exchange. So it's pretty bad as far as the territory is concerned. Yes, again, black kept investing stones in that group and lost more and more points, so it's not worth it. If you think your group is already dead, just play away and leave some algae there. If black simply play away, there's still lots of algae in this general area that black can think about how to make use of it. Yeah, again, this is, to me, is a problematic choice of Yose, because after this exchange, these three marked black stones become even weaker. Yeah. So instead of playing this Yose move, black should probably just, after this exchange, maybe try to save this marked stone, and also putting some pressure on these three marked white stones. Yeah, this looks better. Yeah, and now white is taking these three stones on a very large scale. And this is a little bit passive. Again, this is a problem of stone advantage. So here black has lots of stones in this general area. So instead of playing this knight shape move, black should have played this forcing move, which is the attachment. If black wants to keep things simple, yeah, we can simply play this variation. And black also has a chance to play the Atari from the other side, but this is something like this. Here, black just puts more and more wasted stone to a group that is already dead. So here, black should probably just start the attack on this white group. Here, black seems to be too upset with this group. But considering black is already far behind in territory, black should probably just push through and putting more pressure on these two marked white stones. And this is a very, very common death shape. After this push through, these three marked stones only have two liberties, so it can easily die. and also leaves a pip here. And this could be very annoying. Again, I won't get into detail. So this group is not alive yet, so there's no reason to play this cut. This cut play is doing nothing here because white stones are already connected. And on the other side, white has too many liberties, so this cut doesn't work. Here, black should have played something like this. I had already stopped killing stones, but because this is a teaching game, so I just keep putting pressure on black stone. Here, my objective is to cut this group off. So if black wants to give some help to this group, black should play the honey, which forms a good connection with the stones in the corner. And also, this marked white stone is restricted by black stones in the proximity. So it's going to be a difficult fight for white.
And I observe that in the game, when black is going to take, he does play that move at p5, but only after he's played the one at r5. So he's taking two moves and he's attacking one single white stone now. When it comes in the next move, you'll see black now attack a single white stone. And white says, okay, have it, I don't care. So this business about attacking a single stone is going to be a problem. Black shouldn't have played that way.
Yeah, yes, exactly. The primary objective for black is to save the stone. So, and this would look very dangerous for white. And if white does back call, black can simply get almost connected. So here, black is too obsessed with this to mark stone with triangle. So, yeah. After this, black plays very well and finds the correct sequence to save this stone. Yeah. This is an overplay, probably. Black is unsure whether this group is alive or not. Just play the Kusumi. The difference is this attachment is a local loss for black. Because here, black just gives away another two stones. Throughout the game, black didn't come back and protect this corner. This move looks too timid. The rule of thumb is black has already got one eye on the first line or on the second line. So black shouldn't be afraid of going into a semi-eye with white. And as you can see, as simple as this. There's no way for white to turn this into a seki. The rule of thumb is if you think you have already got one eye and your opponent doesn't seem to have any eye for time being, then just go into that semi-eye. And it's probably going to turn out to be good for black. And this is not the optimal move. Again, black is able to cut a white off unconditionally without a call, something like this. And the white stones in the corner are dead. After playing this, white gets the chance to turn the whole corner into a call. And if we shift our attention to this corner, there's something very interesting that's going to happen.
But why is it interesting? Why is it not just dead?
Not quite.
Because there's a ko.
Yeah, something like the ko, yeah. The simplest line is this, yeah. Yeah, this is the simplest one. And this is probably Jackie or something. Anyway, there's still something that can be done in this corner. And again, this exchange is bad for black because black lost 1 point here and also lost 1 or maybe 2 points in this. Because if black doesn't play this exchange, and white can curve around, and if white play away, this is going to be forcing. Here, I'm going to make a distinction between this move and this move. By playing this mark move, black doesn't lose any point because this move is forcing. So white still needs to play another move in white territory. So this exchange is even out. But once you play another move to your dead group and your opponent play a move on the outside or play away, this is going to be a loss for black. This is a tiny mistake because this forcing move is very big. Black should play this forcing move first and then play elsewhere. Again, this is small. This is bigger. It's 4 points. again, this is the same problem. Black just plays another stone on a dead group inside white's territory, and white is going to play another move from the outside, which means black lost another few points here. Again, I'm just going to mark this to call. Call at A12 is definitely smaller than C18 because, as you can see, once white saves this, lots of territory is gone for black. So this call is definitely much bigger than the call at A13. Connecting this call is smaller than this endgame move because it's worth 1 point. And connecting a call, I think, is just about 2/3. Yeah, and this is the end of the game. So let's go back to this mistake. So that's why I prefer to call this one losing, because as you can see, all the nightmare happen in this general area for black. So black is as a consequence of this Panuki. So I'm pretty sure if black connects here, this would have been a totally different game. Yeah, and black would play more reasonably. Yeah, that's my take on the game. Yeah. Black told me he thought this empty triangle is a bad shape, but the rule of thumb is a white stone or keystone is way important than having a good shape. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, you cut off some stones that are now part of a large territory. You're left with a cutting point. I mean, you've got so many good things in exchange for that empty triangle.
Sometimes terrible shape is also good. Yeah.
But sometimes it's the only shape. It's best move. Yeah.
But the positive side is I didn't detect any bad shape moves throughout the game for black. So this is quite impressive. Which means black is at least on good track.